Are you sick and tired of gambling your hard-earned money on Madden and 2K packs? Well, look no further than my sponsor, MMOEXP, for the cheapest and most reliable Madden and 2K coins on the market. And of course, do not forget to use code Ferdy for 5% off. A link for their website is at the top of the description. What's going on, guys? Today we are updating the long overdue cornerback tier list. And as you guys can see, already a bunch of new names on here. This one was really outdated. I think we had about 35 new corners to add to the tier list from the last update that I believe I did at the end of December. So this one was definitely overdue, but yes, let's just get started. Okay, so the first card we're looking at today is the weekly wild card, Darius Williams. 96 speed, 98 acceleration, and he is a shorter corner. And my opinion on the shorter corners is if you have a good KO that revolves around whatever defense you're running, say you're running man defense, you're going to want to run like a deep route or a medium route or like a short route KO, whatever kind of works for you. If you're running zone, he gets deep out zone KO, and also that zero AP pick artist is super nice. It just kind of helps secure those easy interceptions a lot better. But still, tall corners in this game get dunked on, short corners get dunked on, obviously, but with KOs, it makes it a lot harder to do that. And obviously, tall corners with KOs are valuable too, but this card, he's going to play fine if you put that KO on him. And by the way, I really do feel like the meta in MUT as far as defense goes is shifting over to zone coverage because there's a lot of route tech receivers for super cheap right now. And man coverage, if you pick up blitzes and stuff like that, it can be easy. However, I mean, man coverage can still bag. It definitely still can, but I think zone is definitely a little bit more consistent as far as, stopping route tech receivers. So Darius Williams, I'm going to put him at a low A tier. And do keep in mind, I do rank these cornerbacks not on a theme team. So a guy like Carmichael or Calvin Johnson, if you're using a Legends theme team or like an Eagles theme team, they're obviously going to be a little bit higher on those theme teams. To me, I think no theme team Carmichael is starting to kind of phase with his speed. I know he's still 6'8" and still obviously super nice, but I feel like with that speed, you kind of got to play him in the slot now. I still love his run stopping ability though. So Carmichael's still obviously amazing, and obviously on a theme team can get much higher. I usually say, if you put a card on a 50-50 theme team, they can go up 2 tiers. If there's a card on a 40 out of 50 or a Legends theme team, they're able to kind of go up 1 tier. That's kind of the way I scale it. So next up, we have a really solid budget cornerback option, and that's Fabian Moreau. This card, if he just had better like awareness and play rec, maybe slightly better man and zone coverage. I mean, these stats as far as physicals go are almost like perfect. He's 6 foot, and also he does get some pretty good abilities. I mean, deep out zone KO, mid zone KO, definitely going to work better in his own scheme, obviously, but that speed for, I guess he's going for about 100K. So, I mean, he's still budget. I think in my budget video, I think I set it at like 150, then I did 100, then I did like 75, 50. So definitely still budget and a really nice card, especially on like a Giants team, for example. So Fabian, we're going to put him at B tier, great speed and also some pretty decent abilities. The next man up is the team of the week, Darrelle Revis. I'm still not really too sure why Revis got an upgrade so fast, but he did. 96 speed, 94 acceleration at 5'11" with great agility, great COD. The man coverage insane, the zone's insane, the press is insane. As a tackler, definitely some work to be done. However, the abilities on this card make him probably the best slot, one of the best slot corners in the game right now. Just because of the abilities. Also, outside shade's really nice. I do wish if I were to change one thing about this card that I think would have made him a little bit higher on today's tier list, I probably would have liked to see outside shade here, so you're able to run outside shade pick artist for 2 AP. I think it would have been really nice, but I feel like, you kind of need that pick artist on this card. You don't need it. You don't need pick artist, but for free, you might as well run it. I think the setup I was running for a while on Revis was bench press short route KO, and he was just killing people in the slot. I then kind of switched over to zone, so I kind of went away from, these abilities. I think I just ran pick artist maybe on him. But yeah, Revis a really nice card. Obviously, his cards always play super well. So we're going to throw him at A tier, good speed and also decent height. We're going to put him at mid A tier. Okay, so these next 2 cards are very similar. We have Shavarius Ward here, 96 speed, great acceleration, good jumping, 6'1", and also a really good tackler and good man, good zone, good press. And for the abilities, he does get that pick artist deep route KO combo, and also that pick artist outside shade combo that I just wanted Revis to get. Instead, Shavarius Ward is 6'1", unlike Revis that's 5'11". So Ward is actually a really good man-to-man card in this game, and this one was tough for me, but either you want an outside shade pick artist or outside shade deep route KO. I think Shavarius Ward is going to be our first S tier cornerback today. The size, the speed, the man, the zone, and the abilities. He basically checks off every single box for me if you're playing man-to-man coverage. And next man up is Champ Bailey, and the reason why these two cards kind of play off of each other is because Champ Bailey's like the zone version of Shavarius Ward, but I do think Ward is like a little bit better. So with that being said, you know, Champ Bailey obviously still a good card. Ward has an inch on him. Ward's a better tackler than him. I think those man abilities are probably better for like man coverage, like outside shade, but Champ Bailey does get deep out zone KO and pick artist for just, you know, 1 AP. Or if you want, if you're kind of going back and forth between man and zone, you have that option where you can run deep out or deep route KO on Champ Bailey if you're kind of mixing up, you know, whatever you're playing on defense. So Champ Bailey, I like the card a lot, and he is very similar to Shavarius, but with that being said, I am going to put him at high A tier. I do think he's just a slight step behind the Ward card. Okay, so the next man up is the 96 overall Stefan Gilmore with the 95 speed, 93 acceleration, good COD, good jumping, awareness, play rec. You know, man and coverage stats across the board look perfect. 6'1", 190. And for the abilities on Stefan Gilmore, he does get 1 AP acrobat, which you're going to see here. You are able to run an acrobat pick artist combo for just 1 AP, or a pick artist short route KO combo if you want to go that route, or even a deep route acrobat combo. So pretty good versatility on this card because you're kind of able to do both things, and he can kind of play everywhere. This card is honestly really good with good abilities, and of course does get that shutdown Gilly Lock X Factor, which is obviously really nice. So Stefan Gilmore, I'm gonna put him at A tier. I'm gonna put him basically with Mike Haynes-ish. I think he's somewhere in this range here. So yeah, on to the next card. The next man up is the legend Tracy Porter. Again, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews with this card as well, but he looks really good. Whenever I play him, he always just plays super well. 96 speed with 98 agility, 98 COD, man coverage, zone. The press could be a little bit better, I won't lie, but also a pretty decent tackler with that 90 pursuit. But if you power up the Tracy Porter card, the reason why he's going to be S tier, I was going back and forth. I feel like maybe stat-wise, he's more of like a high, or like stat-wise, build-wise, he's more of like a high A tier card. But with these abilities, and with him being a legend, and we should see more and more legend cards that get, you know, 3 ability buckets, you know, with, I mean, you're going to see more in this video, to be honest with you, but with the Legends power up, just being able to run, you know, if you want to run flat zone, pick artist for free, and deep out zone KO I really like, or pick artist, short route, or I like his ability setups a lot, and also I'm a big fan of the versatility, medium route, deep route. It's up to you, whatever you want to do on this card. I love the versatility, the abilities, having those 3 ability buckets, or 3 player specific, discounted, whatever you want to call them, ability buckets. We are going to put Tracy Porter up here at S tier, and it honestly is really close between him and Ward. I think Ward might have the slight advantage, but Tracy with those abilities, I think I'm going to put Ward in front of Porter. I'm going to do that, I think. And with the Super Bowl promo, we've got a bunch of really nice new corners, and also the AKA drop this week. We kind of had a nice slew of really top tier corners come out, but Jalen Mills is an example of that. I mean, look at these coverage stats. Jalen Mills, obviously like a safety kind of corner kind of guy, so he's going to have good hit power, tackling, pursuit, man zone, press, speed. He's 6 foot, and look at these abilities here, man. So he is going to get those 3 player specific, 3 discounted ability slots, and he's definitely a zone guy. So if you're playing man, maybe not the guy for you, but deep out zone KO, sorry, pick artist, and then mid zone. This combo right here is straight up nasty. I mean, this combo, being able to run that is actually insane. If you put him more, I guess that's probably the move on this card. Deep out zone, pick artist with mid zone is probably what I would run, or flat zone if you run that more, if you're playing him more underneath. But yeah, this card's ridiculous. We're gonna be putting him up here at S tier without question. Next up, we have the LTD James Bradberry. Obviously, he's very similar to the Jalen Mills card. I would say Jalen Mills maybe has some better stats if we compare the 2 guys. We look at Mills here. I think it is actually pretty close between the 2. It just kind of comes down to the abilities, and they get the same abilities. I guess Bradberry's the bigger corner, so maybe, you know, better against the run. But you see how similar the stats are. Both play on Eagles theme teams. I mean, yeah, they're both really good cards. They're both really good cards, obviously, and I think I'm going to put them right next to each other. Literally the same exact ability setup. The deep out zone, the pick artist, and the flat zone / mid zone combo, depending on how you use the card. So yeah, Bradberry, Jalen Mills, very, very, very interchangeable. And next up, we have another Super Bowl cornerback. Like I said, for whatever reason, they juiced out the cornerback position over the last 2 weeks, but 96 speed, 98 acceleration on this card, 96 COD, man zone, a pretty decent tackler, but he's 6'2", 195, so he's the tallest out of the corners we've seen so far at S tier, I do believe. And then for abilities, he is more of a man cornerback. So if you're playing man, he's probably gonna be the option over Bradberry or Jalen Mills. But yeah, you have deep route KO, medium route KO. I probably would go deep route KO, pick artist on this card, and maybe aggro if you feel like that works. If not, then you can just run deep route KO, pick artist, or mid zone KO depending on how you're using the card, or go deep route, pick artist, medium route KO, and get a bunch of knockouts on the field. So Jalen Watson, I love his speed, I love his size, I love the abilities, and without question, he is S tier. So next up, we have the comp field pass, 6'4" Nahshon Wright with 96 speed, 95 acceleration, great zone coverage, decent man, decent press, and good against the run. That's not decent press. It's actually pretty solid press, especially for a 6'4" cornerback. So Nahshon Wright, good size, and for the abilities, he does get acrobat, free pick artist, deep out zone KO, and he is able to get that combo I talked about on Revis and the one I talked about on Ward, where it's that pick artist and outside shade. Unfortunately, no tier 3, no tier 3 player specific or discounted abilities, but Nahshon Wright with the size and the speed and these abilities that honestly give you pretty good flexibility depending on if you want to play man or zone, which I really like. So Nahshon Wright, I think, is easily, I definitely thought about this one, but I think we are going to put him in front of the other Super Bowl cornerbacks because of the size and the abilities. I think it just makes sense. And finally, last but not least, we have the 97 overall Denzel Ward, and I don't know why, but this card is easily the best cornerback I can remember using in an Ultimate Team game. Like, this dude just plays out of his mind. I don't know why. It feels like he gets just an insane amount of KOs, obviously because he does get the universal coverage for 1 AP that I've been rocking with, but also the versatility of this card. I know he's more of a man-to-man guy usually on his cards, but I've been rocking with pick artist and deep out zone KO. That fits my scheme. And then also I've been running the universal coverage on this card. And like I said, he's the best cornerback that I've used this year for sure. I mean, he plays insane and might be a top 3 corner I can remember using in Ultimate Team. I mean, last year's Amani card's up there. But I mean, this Denzel Ward card, I know his price is a little bit steep, and it makes sense why it's a little bit steep because he is just amazing. 97 speed. I know he's only 5'11", but again, with those KOs, and even goes up there and makes plays with pick artists for a 5'11" corner. I mean, he is just insane and also a pretty good tackler as well. So Denzel Ward to me is the best cornerback right now in Ultimate Team, which I don't think is really a debate. I think it's pretty agreed upon that this card is just amazing. So our top 5 corners right now in Ultimate Team: Denzel Ward, Nahshon Wright, Jalen Watson, James Bradberry, and Jalen Mills. So hey, drop a comment down below. Who did I miss? Who's too high? Who's too low? Let me know. And as always, I will see you boys in the next one.